Okay, let's just dive right into this, guys. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the complete story of a movie that literally redefines the word insane. Seriously, I'm talking about the 1991 cult classic Ricky-O, The Story of Ricky. If you're a fan of jaw-dropping, absolutely over-the-top action, you are in for a massive treat. We're going to break down the sheer absurdity, the shocking violence, and honestly, the surprisingly emotional core of this unforgettable story. So let's get right to it. We get hooked immediately by our main guy, a 21-year-old named Ricky. Just picture this. You step into a terrifying, lawless prison, totally surrounded by heavily armed guards. And this is how you introduce yourself. He delivers this absolute badass line right out of the gates. "These bullets are not my weakness, but my strength." Like, what? What exactly is he talking about here? Well, as he's casually strolling through the prison's metal detector, the alarms just go absolutely crazy. The guards search him, they find absolutely nothing, and finally, they're forced to put him through an X-ray machine. And guys, this brilliantly sets up the kind of impossible protagonist we're dealing with today. Ricky literally has exactly 5 bullets lodged deep inside his chest. And he's just standing there, completely unfazed. It sets the stage so perfectly for the absolute madness that's about to unfold. So let's take a look at Section 1, Ricky's entry in prison. Let me tell you, this is definitely not your standard run-of-the-mill correctional facility. The prison is actually divided up into 4 distinct blocks: north, south, east, and west. And the rule of law here, it's just absolute power. It's run by these ruthless leaders who show zero mercy. Each block is essentially its own hostile kingdom where the leaders do whatever they want, and blood and fear are basically the local currency. If you're weak here, you simply do not survive. Moving right along to Section 2, Horrific Oppression on Prisoners. To really get why this story kicks off the way it does, we have to look at the sheer cruelty inflicted by these block leaders. And that brings us to the totally heartbreaking tragedy of an older inmate named Wing. Wing had spent his entire life behind bars and was literally just about to be released. He even made this little handmade wooden toy for his son. But Samuel, the West Block leader, just ruthlessly breaks the toy and beats the poor guy. After Ricky tries to step in and help, Samuel actually uses bribery to get Wing's sentence extended by a horrifying 25 years. Completely broken, totally devoid of hope, Wing tragically takes his own life. And this massive injustice? That's the ultimate spark for Ricky's rampage. And oh man, what a rampage it is. Ricky decides he's just gonna dismantle these threats. First up is the terrifying Matt Dragon. Matt lands a hit on Ricky, but Ricky just bounces right back and delivers a punch so powerful it literally bursts straight through Matt Dragon's stomach. Seeing this, Samuel tries to stop him by impaling Ricky's hand with a spike. But Ricky, he just ignores the pain, snaps Samuel's fingers, and punches right through Samuel's stomach too. He casually takes out 2 major threats in mere minutes. It just perfectly highlights the absolute absurdity of his strength. Naturally, this little display catches the attention of the higher-ups. Enter the assistant warden. This guy is a totally sadistic official who, get this, literally has twin metal hook hands. Yeah, you heard that right. He calls Ricky into his office, reads his file, and tries to break his spirit. To do it, he grabs Ricky's most precious possession, a photograph of his girlfriend, Kiko, and crushes it. Ricky's blood boils, and he shatters a massive, solid table in half, completely terrifying the assistant warden. Okay, let's pause the present-day carnage for just a second and look at Section 3, Ricky's painful past. You're probably wondering, why is Ricky so incredibly strong, and why on earth is he in this nightmarish prison in the first place? Tracing his history back, Ricky was an orphan and just an ordinary student who got into a lot of fights. He was eventually taken in by Master Zheng for some seriously rigorous martial arts training. But then tragedy struck. His girlfriend Kiko was cornered by thugs on a roof and tragically fell to her death. Driven completely by vengeance, Ricky hunted down the gang boss, took multiple point-blank bullets to the chest without even flinching, and brutally killed him. That revenge murder earned him a 10-year sentence, which is exactly what brought him to this prison. But how does he do the impossible? The secret actually lies in a specific teaching from Master Zheng. Master Zheng taught Ricky to deeply control his mind, to remove anger, hatred, and fear in order to unleash his true, highly destructive power. He literally learned to smash massive boulders into dust. This extreme mental discipline is exactly how Ricky manages to survive these impossible odds. All right, stepping back into the present day, things escalate wildly in Section 4, The Dangerous Game of Death. Ricky ends up uncovering a very dark secret hiding beneath the prison blocks. He discovers that the entire prison is actually just a front for a massive, secret underground drug manufacturing ring. This whole operation is protected by the remaining block leaders, known as the Gang of Four. You've got the lightning-fast Chang, the absolute giant Kitama, and the weapon-wielding Brandon. To keep this massive secret safe, they ruthlessly silence inmates. They even cut out a young boy's tongue just because he knew about it. This level of true corruption gives Ricky a righteous reason to just tear the whole system down. So what's his next move? Ricky finds the massive underground drug garden and literally burns the entire thing to ashes. Talk about an explosive turning point, right? He hits the villains right in their wallets, officially declaring a one-man war and basically guaranteeing a violently massive retaliation. In response, the assistant warden tries to trap Ricky. He locks Ricky and the giant Kitamara inside a cell and starts filling it with fast-pouring wet cement, fully expecting both of them to be crushed and buried alive. But the reality? Ricky uses his unbelievable strength to completely shatter the heavy cell door. And in a crazy twist, he actually drags Kitamara out with him, showing this totally unexpected mercy toward his sworn enemy. When the actual head warden finally arrives, things get even crazier. Ricky is thrown into a deep pit and buried alive under tons of solid dirt. The warden expects certain death by suffocation after 7 days. But, hitting absolute peak movie absurdity here, Ricky survives. How? He breaks off a bamboo shoot planted in the dirt and just breathes through it for an entire week. He leaves the warden completely stunned when they finally dig him up alive. So they chain Ricky up, and Chang forcefully feeds him a handful of razor blades, taping his mouth tightly shut. But Ricky's resourcefulness is just unmatched. The second the warden steps close and rips the tape off, Ricky immediately spits the razor blades out like a shotgun blast directly into the warden's face. It's this incredibly gruesome, totally iconic counterattack that instantly shifts the momentum of the whole scene. Which brings us crashing right into Section 5, the final battle and freedom. At this point, the entire prison just erupts into an all-out, chaotic war between the inmates and the guards. The remaining leadership gets systematically dismantled in hyper-violent fashion. First, Ricky uses the assistant warden as a human shield. A stray bullet hits his stomach, causing it to inflate like a giant balloon and explode. No, really. Next, Ricky grabs Chang's leg and shoves it straight into boiling water, snapping it. Finally, Brandon tries to make a run for it, but is accidentally gunned down by the warden himself. And now, the story delivers its absolute craziest twist yet. Left with zero options, the warden literally mutates. His entire body expands, and he transforms into a colossal, grotesque monster with superhuman strength. It turns out he too has some bizarre, monstrous power hidden away. This final boss fight feels like a completely mythological epic. The monster beats Ricky down hard, but Ricky uses his mind. He waits for the absolute right moment, lifts the massive monster warden with all of his might, and throws him directly into an industrial meat grinder. The monster is completely shredded, and Ricky emerges victorious, literally holding the severed head of the warden. He casually walks out to the warring courtyard, raises the severed head up high, and shouts, "Now you are all free." And to really seal the deal, he throws a single, devastating punch at the massive concrete prison wall, completely shattering it and liberating the oppressed prisoners once and for all. And guys, that is the insane story of Ricky-O. It is a hyper-violent, completely impossible tale of revenge and justice. By perfectly balancing genuine emotional tragedy with just over-the-top, mind-bending martial arts madness, it firmly cemented its legacy as one of 1991's most unforgettable cult classics. So I gotta leave you with this final thought today. After watching a man survive 5 bullets, punch through stomachs, and literally feed a mutant monster into a meat grinder, how does Ricky-O rank among the craziest action stories you've ever experienced? Really think about it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, keep that curiosity alive.